Hi everybody, welcome back to 3 News Now. Today is Monday, July 26th. I'm Stephanie Haney, and thank you for joining me for the top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Now, the stories that are continuing to top the website today have to do with the name change for our Cleveland baseball team. You found out on Friday, as we all did, that the Tribe will be officially changing the name to the Cleveland Guardians at the end of the 2021 season or at the beginning of the 2022 season. Well, on Friday at WWE Friday Night SmackDown, you know who had something to say about that? John Cena. He was here in town at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, and he said, yeah, big news out today, sports news today. He said, I don't know if y'all heard, but I went to the Cleveland government offices and he changed his middle name. This is what he said. He said, I changed my middle name to Guardians because someone needs to protect the small amount of respect the WWE has left. And then after he did that, he went ahead and challenged Roman Reigns to a match for the WWE Universal title at WWE SummerSlam. Now, he has been sort of off the map for a little while, so this was kind of his debut back into the WWE world right here in Cleveland at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, and he had to make his comments known about the Guardians. Now, someone who is not in favor of the name change is the Portage County Sheriff, who has made the controversial move of using the Sheriff's Office public platform in order to make his feelings known about the name change. Portage County Sheriff Bruce Zukowski released a statement to the public via the Facebook account of the Sheriff's Office. This happened on Saturday. He said in the post that he, quote, felt compelled to speak out on the issue on behalf of the, quote, silent majority. And he says that his grandfathers, who watched baseball games together when he was young, would be, quote, turning over in their grave with anguish and disgust toward the recent actions. Now, if you take a look at the reactions to this post and the comments, they are very much split. Some people were angry, some people were laughing, some people loved the post, and the comments situation is very much the same. We have that linked on WKYC.com if you want to take a look at how the public conversation is going around that controversial choice from the Portage County Sheriff. Now, of course, our resident commentator, Mike Polk Jr., had to weigh in on this, and he let people know what he thinks about the Guardians name change. He talked about the team history, the name, the logo, and the question of the mascot, which, spoiler alert, you probably know by now, Slider will continue to be the mascot. He also made a good point about the number of teams that don't have Major League Baseball teams, the number of cities that don't have Major League Baseball teams. I won't spoil it for you, but it's pretty interesting math. You're going to want to check that out. That's on WKYC.com and also on our WKYC YouTube page and our Instagram account, which if you're not following, that's at WKYC3. Now let's turn to Olympic news because the Tokyo 2020 Olympics that are happening in 2021 are underway. We're a couple days into the events, and we here in Northeast Ohio already have a gold medal winner. I'm talking about Cleveland native Lee Kiefer. She not only won gold in fencing, but she made history by being the first American to win gold in fencing. She defeated her Russian competitor 15-13 on Sunday morning in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, and she is 27 years old. She was born in Cleveland. She's right now a third-year medical student at the University of Kentucky. She's previously competed in the Olympics. She was there in 2012 in London, and she was there in 2016 in Rio. Never won a medal before, so doing it this weekend, not only a new experience for her, but also for Team USA. Congratulations to her. Very proud of her here in Northeast Ohio. She had an emotional reaction after winning the gold. She said on the Today Show that she still doesn't really feel like it's real and that her happiness right now is coming from the joy of her coach and her family at this point. Her husband, Garrick Meinhardt, is also an Olympic athlete in fencing, and he said it was just incredible to see her gold medal performance. Here's a quote from him. She made my Olympic dream come true. Being able to see her go out, fight her nerves, and come out with the gold medal was something really special. Congratulations again to Lee Kiefer. Now, Northeast Ohio has quite a few athletes at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics right now. About a dozen athletes. And on my 3 Things to Know podcast this week, I talk with our 3 News digital producer, Dave Dino DiNatale. So excited to have my dear friend and colleague on the podcast this week. He's given us the who, what, and when of what we need to know, the backstories of our Northeast Ohio athletes, as well as when to catch them competing. And if you take a look at the article, it's linked at wkyc.com/3thingstoknow, all of their social media handles. Also, I took the liberty of making a Twitter list of all of our Northeast Ohio athletes who are competing in Tokyo. So you can find that on my Twitter account. That's _Stephanie Haney. Give this podcast a listen if you're interested in our local competitors at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Again, lots of people with Northeast Ohio ties. We're breaking down their backstories. You can find that on every single podcast platform. Just search for 3 Things to Know with Stephanie Haney. Now, here in Ohio, back at home, everyone was paying attention to what the Ohio Department of Health was going to say because it had been suggested that we might see some new health orders. Over the weekend, Governor DeWine had said they might come as soon as today because of the Delta variant. Well, what we did get today were recommendations, but not requirements. Dr. Bruce Vanderhoff, he's the Chief Medical Officer for the Ohio Department of Health, talked about COVID-19 safety today in a press conference, and he said they believe that these recommendations are essential to the health of Ohio's youth and the success of the coming school year. So a big focus on the upcoming school year over the conversation this weekend and again today. Dr. Vanderhoff says that the safety of Ohio's children is paramount, and the preventative measures the school will take will help prevent Ohio students. Children are less likely to get severely ill from COVID-19. They are not invincible, though, and most certainly can and do have the risk of becoming ill. So the guidance, which Dr. Vanderhoff said will be posted in full no later than Tuesday, focuses on 3 different layers of protection. It is strongly recommended that staff and eligible students get vaccinated. It is also strongly recommended that unvaccinated people consistently wear masks, which have been proven to be an effective tool for reducing the spread of COVID-19. Also, additional measures include improving ventilation, maximizing distance between people, and good hand sanitization. Now, here's a little reminder of how we got to this point. It was in mid-May that the CDC announced that if you're not fully vaccinated, you could take a mask off and still be protected against COVID-19. But as the Delta variant continues to spread, and now we're learning about the Lambda variant as well, it is possible that there may be guidelines issues requiring people to put on masks in all situations. That is something that they are reinstituting out on the West Coast. So Governor Mike DeWine has said we will keep an eye on that, and of course he was saying that was a potential possibility today. However, again, the Ohio Department of Health today not requiring anything, but they are strong recommendations. Now, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's leading infectious disease expert, says that the U.S. is heading in the wrong direction. 50% of the country is not fully vaccinated. Dr. Fauci says that's a problem, particularly when you have a variant like Delta. Now, our 3 News reporter Marissa Saenz talked to Summit County's Public Health Commissioner Donna Skoda. And Donna told 3 News that in order to keep kids in the classroom, taking all the precautions against COVID-19 is what needs to happen. Skoda said this: "I do believe that it's going to be important that we follow these public health measures. We all have to understand that it's a public health measure and it's not political." Now, if you're wondering what your school district will do in the upcoming school season, we do have a compiled list of publicly announced mask guidelines for the 2021-2022 school year. That's on WKYC.com. And the ones that we have listed so far really do kind of run the range of what a school could do. There are some school districts that are saying mask wearing will be optional for faculty, staff, and students. Other school districts are saying that masks will be required on buses. Other schools are saying that masks will be required for people under 12. Remember, at this point, you have to be at least 12 years old in order to get a COVID-19 vaccine, and that's only approved for one of the vaccines. But we do know that there are trials underway for children younger than 12 to potentially get vaccinated. Of course, we'll be keeping a very close eye on that. Another thing we're keeping a close eye on, the 2021 NBA draft. That is approaching very quickly. That is on Thursday. Remember, the Cleveland Cavaliers are having a free watch party at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse on Thursday, if you're interested in going to that. But according to our 3 News sports analyst, Ben Axelrod, taking a look at where the Cavs might go with that number 3 pick, all signs seem to point that they will be going with University of Southern California's, one of my alma maters, center, Evan Mobley. Now, that is if Mobley is still available at the number 3 spot. But if you take a look at mock drafts which have been put out by ESPN, Sports Illustrated, CBS Sports, The Athletic, and The Ringer. A lot of them are forecasting that Mobley goes to Cleveland with that number 3 spot. He's 7 foot, he's 210 pounds, and he is looking like a strong contender to end up here in Cleveland at the end of the draft. Now, other indications are that the Pistons will use the top pick in the draft to go after Cunningham, and other reports have the Houston Rockets linked to NBA G League Ignite guard Jalen Green. Another possibility for the Cavs was Jalen Suggs from Gonzaga, the point guard, but that doesn't seem to be what the people are suggesting. So we'll keep a close eye on that. And who knows, anything can happen at the NBA draft. There was also some conversation about the Cavs trying to trade up from the number 3 spot. We will keep a close eye on it, of course, and as we have that information, you will find it first on 3 News, on WKYC.com, and in our WKYC app. So if you do not have our app download, if you don't have those notifications turned on, make sure you do that, because we'll have that information for you first right here on 3 as soon as it becomes available from our incredible sports team. And that is it for your 3 News Now update today for Monday, July 26th. I'll see you next up on What's New with a special Olympics edition of What's Clicking in Cleveland as we take a look at our Northeast Ohio athletes and how you can connect with them directly and follow their journeys. And then I will see you back here tomorrow for more 3 News Now.